Bonjour, je suis Daniel, and if you are new here, you should know that I have two passions, movies and traveling. This time we are going to Paris, but no flight ticket is needed. You probably cannot travel to the French capital during this time, but you can get the Parisian flair through the big screen. You probably saw Amelie in Paris, a new series on Netflix by Darren Star, the creator of the Sex and the City. Amelie, played by Lily Collins, moves to Paris to work at a marketing agency, and new challenges and romances wait for her. In this video, I will guide you through the city's main sights with the help of 10 famous movies. From musicals to action, from thrillers to animation, I will show you everything the cinema has to offer. I personally went to Paris a few years ago to surprise my parents on their vacation, and I spent 2 days there. But that time was not enough. I need to go back. And there are so many reasons why you should go or go back to Paris. The captivating French history, the amazing food, and also the culture. So, I arrived in Paris and got off from the airport shuttle bus at the Eiffel Tower. It was designed by Alexander Gustave Eiffel for the World Fair of 1889, and since then it has become synonymous with the French capital. But did you know that it was originally planned for Barcelona and it was only supposed to stand for 20 years? This iconic landmark appeared in so many films, I lost count. So let the cinematic adventure begin. Are you a James Bond fan? Then you should watch the 14th James Bond film, A View to Kill. Eiffel Tower's restaurant gives a luxury feel to the story. Bond meets here with a French private detective. During their lunch, he was killed by the masked Mayday, the bodyguard and the lover of the evil Max-Zorin. A chasing scene evolves on the tower stairs, but Mayday escapes by parachuting from the tower. If you are into mystery thrillers, I recommend you the Da Vinci Code, which features the Louvre, the largest and the most visited museum in the world. It has over 35,000 masterpieces, including the Mona Lisa, and it would take months to see everything. In the Da Vinci Code, the elderly curator of the Louvre has been murdered inside the museum. Clues in the Da Vinci paintings lead to the discovery of a religious mystery protected by a secret society. Interested? The film received mixed reviews by the critics, created protests all around the world, and it was even banned in a number of countries. Speaking of arts, our next stop is Montmartre, which is also known as the painter's neighborhood. During the Belle Époque, the Beautiful Age, many famous French artists lived in, had studios, or worked in or around Montmartre. For example, Claude Monet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Edgar Degas, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, Vincent van Gogh, and Pablo Picasso. I know, he was Spanish, but he lived most of his life in France. Besides the tiny streets, which I wish could talk, the other famous site is the Sacré-Cœur. It is a Roman Catholic church and a minor basilica on the highest point of the city. The next film story starts here. The Midnight in Paris is a fantasy comedy drama written and directed by Woody Allen. It won the Oscar for the Best Original Screenplay in 2012. In the movie, which is full of historical and cultural references, Jill, played by Owen Wilson, is an aspiring screenwriter on vacation with his fiancée and her parents. Struggling with his novel, he decides to take a walk on the streets of Montmartre to find inspiration. Somehow, at the stroke of midnight, he is transported back to the 1920s Paris, where he meets with some of the most brilliant artists of the century, Salvador Dali, Hemingway, and Picasso, just to name a few. Paris established itself as a flourishing center, not just arts, but also entertainment. The same year the Eiffel Tower was dedicated, in 1889, the Moulin Rouge was opened at the foot of the Montmartre hill. In the early years, Moulin Rouge was famous by its extravagant shows, which inspired the film starring Nicole Kidman, rewarding her first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. The musical takes you back to the golden years of the cabaret as we follow the story of the young English writer Christian, played by Ewan McGregor, who falls in love with the courtesan and the star of the Moulin Rouge. You probably heard about the other famous musical set in Paris. The Phantom of the Opera sets in the Palais Garnier. According to the original novel by the French writer Gaston Leroux, a ghost lives in the sewers underneath the Parisian Opera House. He falls in love with the chorus singer Christine and privately tutors her while terrorizing the rest of the opera house. Disney was also inspired by the French capital. The Hunchback of Notre-Dame is the 7th animated film produced during Disney Renaissance period. The film is based on Victor Hugo's novel, and you're probably familiar with the character of Quasimodo, the bell ringer of the Notre-Dame Cathedral. But did you know that the famous gargoyles were added only in the 19th century to the church, which dates back to the 12th century? Many Disney characters made a cameo in other movies. Belle from The Beauty and the Beast appears in this film too. Can you spot her? There she is. The iconic Audrey Hepburn made 6 films, either on location or at film studios in Paris. In Funny Face, you will see many iconic Parisian backdrops like the Arc de Triomphe. In the film, a fashion photographer, Dick Avery, played by Fred Astaire, is struck by the beauty of Audrey's character and takes her to France, where he snaps pictures of her on amazing locations. Paris is one of the capitals of fashion, if not the capital. This is why it is not a surprise that The Devil Wears Prada ends in Paris on the Place de la Concorde. It is the largest square in the French capital and lays between the world-famous Champs-Élysées and the Tuileries Garden. And by the way, if I am pronouncing this name wrong, please pardon my French. Even though only a few scenes were shot in Paris, you cannot say it is not iconic when Anne Hathaway throws her phone into the fountain. And if these films were not enough for you about Paris, you have to watch Paris, Je t'aime, which is a declaration of love to Paris, the city of love. It consists of 18 short films which were created by different directors and international cast to show love in different districts of Paris. I think everyone has a famous movie about Paris. Which one is yours? Tell me in the comments below. My all-time favorite is Amelie, which is a true Parisian fairy tale. The film will transport you to the unique world of Amelie Poulain, played by Audrey Tautou. If you are in a bad mood, I am sure this film will cheer you up. Amelie spent most of her life existing in the background. She has basically no purpose of life when we meet her. No friends or no romantic relationships. But she decides she changes it by helping others around her. I hope there are some movies that you want to watch or rewatch again. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you are already here, watch my other travel guides for some inspiration. Au revoir!